Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we're going to demonstrate how to use a text box and get information from the text box. If you have a text box such as a username, password, whatever the case is, you have the ability to understand what that information is. So if I actually, let me see if I could pull up a site here and show you what I mean. So right here, example of the hall pass. It has an email address and a password. So if I would type in a name, something like that, and I hit sign in, it's not going to work, but I'm able to understand what I typed in and then it's invalid. So as it shows you right here, it does a check and it says, please include an @ symbol. Oops, let's hit sign in again. Please include an @ symbol in the email address. Blah, blah, blah is missing an @ symbol. So it does a check. So we're going to do something similar to that. We're going to add a way to get the information and take the information and verify that it is properly. So for example, if you've ever entered a password in it says, oh, you know, you're creating a new password, it says you need to have an uppercase or a number. So that's kind of basically what we're going to do today. So let's start off and create a new package, and we will call it ValidateTextBox. And I'm going to click a new class. I'm just going to make it easy and call it main. Public static void. I already have my libraries ready, so I'm just going to paste those guys in here. So bear with me. I'm not going to keep doing that over and over. I'm going to make life easy by doing that. Also with my stage, I'm going to copy that over. Trying to make life easy, remember, because we've already did this stuff. Alright, so we need to have extends application up here. Perfect. We need to have our args. Perfect. Alright, so that's good. So now we're ready to roll. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is same thing that we do every time. We need a stage. Keep calling it window. We need a scene. Call it my scene. We need a button. Call it my button. Call it whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm calling it. Alright, so we have our args. Now we're going to have our start menu up here. Same thing as before. We're going to do a window equals primary stage. We're going to do a window dot set title equals something. I'll say validate text box CCAC. Alright, perfect. So now we need a form. We need a text box on the screen. So how will we program that? So we're going to do text field, which, remember, I'm taking the name of the control right here. I'm going to copy the control. I'm going to paste that guy right here in here. Perfect. I'm doing text field. I'm going to give it a name. I'll call it text box. Equals, it's good to come up with a number like that, 1, 2, because you might have multiple ones, or it could be something, but I'm gonna call it 1 equals new text box filled. All right, so now we need a button to do something. So create a button. What's the name of our button? My button. So we'll do my button. We're saying, hey, our button that we declared up there equals new button. And we need text in the middle of it. And we'll say, I always just say submit. Alright. Now what we need to do is, let's see here. We need to create our layout first. We'll get to the action stuff later. We're going to probably copy some layout stuff over, but let me just type it out. Alright, so we're going to do VBox. We have up there, layout equals new VBox. We've already did this with padding. Alright, so now we're going to do layout dot set padding, and then we give it the padding so it separates stuff, but we need to put the new insets in there. So new, which holds new insets, is basically like an array that holds values. So 20, 20, 20, 20. Now sometimes you have to mess around with this to see if it's right. The only reason I know is because I already did this once or twice. So now I'm going to do get children, and I'm going to get children, I'm going to add all. Why am I adding all? Because I have the name of our text box, and I have a button, my button, and I close it. There we go. All right, so we have that done. So now we need our scene information. So this I'm going to copy over because, well, I'll just write it out. Scene information. So I have scene, well, my scene actually. My scene, that's what we called it, equals new scene, equals not minus, new scene. Sheesh, I can't type today. We're going to do the name of the layout, and then the size of it. Alright, so then we're going to have window.setScene, and we'll be resetting. What's the name of your scene? My scene. Comes up, boom. Alright, so we're going to do window.show. Perfect. Alright, so we're making some good progress here. So the only thing that we really have left is we need to program a method call. We are going to program that first before we do our action at the top. So remember, this is another child in a sense. We're going to come down here. We're going to make it a Boolean. So we're going to call it private Boolean. We'll call it isInt. I will say is it an integer? Is it a integer? I'll spell it out so we know exactly what it is. So we'll put what kind of thing are we receiving? We're receiving a text field, and I'll say input. We're gonna get a message. So these are our parameters. All right. So it doesn't like that yet because we have to do a return. So no big deal. Not worried about it right now. You know what? I don't like the name of this. Is it an integer? Let's say validate text box. That's pretty good. All right. So down here we're going to have a try. So we're going to try to do this. If not, we're going to catch it. So let's start off with the try first. So we're going to say int for integer. We'll put age equals integer dot parse. In the middle here, we'll put the name of our text field, which we call it textbox1, and then we do the get text. This allows us to call the method to get the text file that was passed to it. So this get what? Oops, I'm typing something. Gets what the user typed in a conversion to an integer. So it'll come over as a string and then we just convert it. Did I call it textbox1? I did. Thought it did, but it didn't like it. Let's see here. What did I do wrong? Alright, so I see what I did. I can't communicate with that text box, so I have to give it a name, which I call the input here. So I need to put input, the name of the parameter. So the parameter is going to hold that value for us. Alright. So now we have that. Now we need to just do an output on the screen. We'll do system.out.println, and we'll say the user is plus the age. Oops. Can't do it. There we go. And then we'll return true value. Okay. Now what we need to do in our try is we need to do a catch. So we're going to do this right here. We're going to say catch, and we're going to provide. In this example, we're looking for a number problem. So we're going to say number format exception. Okay, and E for exception. So we're going to do this. All right, good. We're getting there. See our true, we forgot to put a semicolon at the end. So I make mistakes all the time. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to say, hey, if this works, you provide us a number, then we're going to run the math on it. If not, we're going to say system.out.println, and we're going to say error. We're going to say message. We're pulling the message down that it sent is not a number. Now you would have to program all these different ones for each one, and we're going to do return false. All right, so now that guy quit barking at us up here. All right, so let's go over this again. So this is our method. We're passing a Boolean. We call it private Boolean because we're looking for it to return a true or false value back to the call, okay? So in that call, we're going to send over the text box input, so whatever the user entered into the field, and then we're going to send over a message, okay? And that'll also come from that as well. I'm trying to think here. And then, all right, so then we'll get the, down here, we'll do some math and say, okay, the age, we call it, and what we do is we take that value because it's a string, and we parse it. This is just a method right here, allows you to take a value from a text box, in this example, and parse it into an integer. That's all it does. We print it on the screen and say the user is blank age, return true. Now if they enter like a letter and a character, it comes down here and catches it, an exception, and then prints this information. So let's add our last piece and then we'll test it to see if it even works. That's the big thing. Does it work? I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. What do we need to do yet? Okay. So, you know what? We're going to do something first. All right. So let's go down to button. We're going to say my button dot set on action. We're going to do E. We'll do something different first. Before we do that, we're going to do system.out.println. We're going to test it and make sure it works first. What do we name our text box? We named it text box 1. Dot get text. Here's the thing I don't like about this. Always put that semicolon in there. All right, so what we're going to do right now, we're not going to call the method right now. We're just going to run this to make sure it even works. All right, so I'm going to hit run. Yes, I want to run you. All right, let's see. It always comes over here. I'll type in Jeffrey. Hit submit. Look at that, it picks it up. So that right now we're not validating anything. We're just making sure that if we enter something in here, it picks it up. And now we just keep adding to another line and so forth. So we know that it's working. So that's awesome. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to comment this guy out here. And we're going to add the one call that we want to do is to call that method. So how do we do that? So we take the name of our button, my button, dot set on action, just like we just did. Only difference is, in this case, we're going to do the E arrow because we're using the lambda expression, and we're going to call the name of the method. So we called it ValidateTextBox, okay? And we're going to pass in the value, which is the text box 1, which is what we called it. And then we're also going to do text box 1 dot get text. So we call that method, make sure that gets passed over. So now we're doing two things. Text box 1 we're passing over, and the message from that we get. So let's run this now and see if this thing works. All right, so now what we're going to do first is we're going to validate that if it works. I'm going to say, let's see, Antonio Brown. Best wide receiver in the game. Hit submit. Down here it says error. Antonio Brown is not a number. That's exactly right. So that means that once it came down here, it said, hey, I can't do this. I don't even know what this is. Picks up as an error. So let's enter an age, a number in. So we put 22. My age, by the way. Hit submit. Guess what? The user is 22. Now we could change that. We have the user's 22. We could say is 22, and we could do plus years of age, and you could just add that on. So now if we run that again, I think I didn't save it, but it should compile, and I enter my real age, 23. Sorry guys. Hit submit. It says the user is 23 years of age. That's it. That's how you get information from a text box, and that's how you validate it. So thank you for listening to this video, and have a nice day.